afternoon, Hammers fans. I'm Nick, and this is Claret and Booze, and this is our daily ramble. Sorry, it's all been a bit quiet this week. It's been a slow news week, innit? We tend to not like just making shows for the sake of it. So, yeah, I was kind of fed up, sort of talking about doom and gloom as well with David Moyes. So there's only so much you can say about that. So we thought we'd have a few days off. The shows will start coming in more regularly now. We've got a show coming up on Friday, hopefully a live show. We'll do a review show on Saturday, and we'll have our usual Sunday night booze up on Sunday as well. So don't miss out. Hopefully we'll have some good news. But whether or not we're looking forward to it or not, football is back. I don't count the international break because I don't watch it. It just irritates me. So yeah, we've got a match to look forward to on Saturday, and I am looking forward to it. I'm keen to see what David Moyes will do. As you can see from the thumbnail, he is indirectly at the moment. He's throwing himself to the wolves because we're in a situation now where he needs points on the table desperately. He's under serious scrutiny, and so he should be. So we'll get into the crux of it in a minute. But, as always, if you are new to the channel, please drop a like on the video, if you enjoy the video, of course, and subscribe to our channel. Why not? Right, okay. So, what have we learned over the international break? I've not watched many of the games, if any, but I have been reading reports on how our players have been performing, and it does appear that our players have been carrying their club form, which hasn't been great, into the international scene. I think Souček is a prime example. Although Souček hasn't been performing well for us for quite some time, he's always been reliable for the Czech Republic. And yeah, it's not gone well at all. He's had an absolute nightmare. He's been getting serious criticism in the Czech press, and he missed a penalty, didn't he, last night? So yeah, he's proper under the cosh. Now it's sort of come out that David Moyes has decided to sit down and have a word with him, to see where things have gone wrong. Well, a bit late in my opinion. I mean, it's good that he's going to do it, but why is this has been going on for months, absolute months. Why only talk to him now? But what is David Moyes going to do? Because he's caught between a rock and a hard place. I think he's in a situation whereby his new players have not been played enough, so they've not bedded in any way. There's no cohesion there between the new players and the existing crop. The existing players that he puts his faith in, week out, and the existing system is failing miserably. It has been for a while. It's showing no signs of improving. It's almost like the Harry Maguire syndrome with Southgate, where I'll keep playing him, I'll keep putting him in, and hope for something different to happen. Well, it's not going to. When players are out of form to this degree, you've got to take them out the firing line for their own good. You've got to protect them a little bit, and you've got to give other players that you've got in that squad that are available a chance, because you're just going to deflate everyone. So it's a massive risk for David Moyes, but I think it would be more risky for him to stick with what he knows on this occasion. I think he's got to go for it. We can't do the stock tactic of sitting back, trying to close out the first 45 minutes and then going for it, because it doesn't work. It doesn't. It might work on the odd occasion. Even a broken clock is right once a day, but it's not going to prove anything. I want to see David Moyes make a statement. I want to see him go out and make some positive changes to this starting 11. This is the only way he's going to get any respite from me. It's the only way I'm going to lay off of him. And my opinion is kind of similar to very many people's opinions now. He's got a lot of pressure on him. The players that are underperforming need to be, if you don't want to say dropped, they need to be rested. They need to be rotated. It's as simple as that. They're not doing themselves any favours. They're not doing Moyes any favours. He's got to change it out. I did a show with Hamish Chat, which I recorded last night with Gio. So I kind of went into quite a lot of detail as I have done already. That show will be going live at 5. So if you want to go and have a look at that kind of gives you a bit more meat on the bones about why I think that I'm not hopeful that this is going to work for Moyes. I'm just not. So I'm not going to go over every single point that I've already discussed just recently. But David Moyes has got to make changes. There's clear weaknesses there now. The biggest weakness is Vladimir Coufal. Coufal is being targeted now in a Masuaku fashion. Their teams are literally setting up to attack him now. That's got to be fixed. Now, we've got a ready-made replacement in Kera, and what that will enable us to do, and we saw Kera. I saw glimpses of what Kera could do in the highlights of the Germany game, and he's very competent in that position. He's also pretty good going forward. He's got a good delivery. He's a good balance. He could be a good balanced wing back. He's got pace as well. So Kera has got to shift out to the right hand side. We've got to do whatever we've got to do to get that bloke out of our team at the moment. He's damaging to West Ham, Vladimir Soufal. In the form that he's in, he's damaging to our club. We've got to get him out. Oh, Johnson's injured. That's not an excuse. We've got other options. So Kera can shift out to the right. We've got Dawson that can come in. That will give us some aerial threat from set pieces, which we've been lacking. Who'd have thought that, a couple of years ago we'd have been saying we need Craig Dawson in the team for goals. Well, we bloody do, don't we? Because no one else is doing anything from set pieces. So 100%, we've got to get Craig Dawson in there. I know that makes our backline a little bit slow, but tough. We've got to try and play a different way. We've got to try and play a more possession-based game. Less cloggers in the team. Less people that are just going to hump the ball hopelessly and bypass central midfield. A team that are going to try and keep the ball, because make no bones about it, Wolves are going to pass. If we try and play like we did, or like we have done, typically Wolves are going to pass us off the pitch. They've got technical players galore. We will not see the ball. That is what will happen. So yeah, we might be able to sort of stick a nice rigid solid backline with a defensive shield in front of it, but ultimately it's not going to yield anything. It's not. We might grind out a point. We need more than that. This is a game that we have to win. This is a 6-pointer after 7 games of the season. It's insane. So the next one, obviously we've just spoken about Soufal. That is, we've got a ready-made solution there. And by shifting Kera out to the right, that also allows you to bring Dawson in, which I think is a massive thing. He's a big character. He doesn't just bring you goals, he brings you leadership as well. We need that. The next one is central midfield. We've got to sort that out. Declan Rice is not a problem. The only problem that we have is his partner at the moment, and that is Souček. And like Soufal, Souček is just a passenger. He's only there in the team for his height and for the threat that he provides from set pieces and whatever else. And he isn't even providing that threat anymore. There is no output from Souček anymore. If there is, it's few and far between. It doesn't. There's no justification for occupying a critical part of the team, which midfield is, to accommodate that. I'm sorry. He needs to be benched, rested, whatever. Just get him out of the team. Get Flynn Downs in. Get Flynn Downs in alongside Rice, someone who can sit, who Declan Rice can trust to shield, which will allow Declan Rice to go on a few more runs upfield and help join defence to attack. We've got to stop bypassing and hoofing. We've got to stop bypassing central midfield. We need to start trying to keep the ball. There is nothing wrong with sideways and backwards passing. That's what good passing teams do. If there isn't an option in front of you, you wait, you hold off, you regroup, you try and draw the other team out. That's what you do. That's how you keep the ball. If there isn't a forward pass on, you don't pass it forward because you're basically just giving it back to the opposition. All right? The next thing I want to say is Paqueta played in his natural number 10, but purely with creativity on the agenda. Nothing else. I like that he's industrious. I like the fact he gets stuck in. That isn't why we signed him. So it's good that we've seen that side of him. But the part of his game that we bought him for, we have not seen yet. We've got to try and accommodate that, bring that out in him, build his confidence as well. Stick him in that 10, have Flynn Downs and Declan Rice behind him, 2 technically gifted players that are defensively astute and will allow Paqueta the freedom to go and do what he wants, because those 2 can shield. And then the next important thing is that with Paqueta, he can only be creative if he's got something to be creative with. And that means he needs options in front of him. He needs runners. If you look back at the creative stats from Leon, I saw a scout report on Paqueta, and a lot of the forward passes and the key passes that he passes wide. So he likes overlapping runners that he can slip in. He can thread the ball through the eye of a needle. We've seen it a few times. He will misplace passes, Paqueta. We're going to have to accept that. Players who try things will get it wrong from time to time. It's as simple as that, because he is that type of player that looks for the killer ball, and we need that. We need someone to unlock the door. But for him to be effective and for him to not look terrible, to give him the best chance of success, we've got to be making the runs. We've got to be unselfish. We've got to be forward thinking. So my opinion is that Maxwell Cornet, although has not been perfect since he's come in, I think he's earned a start. He's definitely earned a start. I think Maxwell Cornet in place of Bowen at the moment, even though I think there's a good chance that Bowen probably would be better if he had Kehrer behind him as opposed to Soufal. I don't think Soufal's been helping Bowen. I think Bowen has almost been... I don't think he's been helped by Soufal. But nonetheless, his form is such that he deserves dropping and someone else deserves being to be given a chance. Okay, Maxwell Cornet has got more pace. He's more direct. Get him out there on that right-hand side. He can do the same job. He's left-footed. He can chop in. And he will make the type of runs that Paqueta will be able to see. The next one for me is on the left-hand side. I love Fornals. I love Pablo, but not as a left winger. When we see him as a left winger, we know what the game plan's going to be. We know it's going to be defence first because that's the only reason that Pablo Fornals can possibly be picked over the likes of Ben Rama out on the left. So for me, I want to see Benny back in the team. I want to see us encouraging players that have been playing well this year. They're few and far between, but get them in the team. Benny's one of them. Flynn Downs is another. Get them in that team. So you're going to have Paqueta in the 10, Benny on the left, Cornet on the right. Now, the other one, it does kind of... There is a bit of a bone of contention with this for me because I think Antonio has been one of our better performers. I do. I think he's been one of our better performers. So it is harsh to drop him. But against Wolves, he's travelling back late from international duty with Jamaica. So he's going to be tired anyway. So the odds are it's going to be Scamacca. I want to see Scamacca in that number 9. I want to see him playing as a striker with Paqueta behind him, with fast runners running off of him. He can drop deep. He can link play. He can be a target man. He can just be a natural number 9 without having to do all of the other industrial work that Antonio does when we play in a way where Antonio has to do everything himself. You know, that isn't going to work. You know, being a jack of all trades but having no specialists in that forward third is not ideal. So he's got to be brave. And like I say, if we do play with Dawson and Zuma at the back, if we play with Kehrer at the right, I didn't talk about left back. For me, I would stick with Cresswell on this one because only reason being, from what I've seen of Emerson, I don't think he's a better left back than Cresswell. I think he's a better left winger and he's far better going forward. If we're playing as a wing back, Emerson all day long, but Cresswell will be more. We need a bit of leadership and experience in there. I've not been overly impressed with Emerson up to this point defensively. So for me, I would play Cresswell left back. So I know I'm jumping about a bit, but that's going to be a 4-2-3-1. I'll go for it again, and I'll talk about the keeper last. So it's going to be Cresswell, Soufal, Zuma, Dawson. Right, that's 2 problems fixed there. We've got Dawson in the team. We've got Soufal out of the team, and we've improved in that area. Downs and Rice in central midfield. Downs will sit and be disciplined. So we've got a better player in there, technically, as opposed to Souček in Downs. And we've got someone who can free Rice up to be a more forward-thinking player as well. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. In addition to that, those 2 sitting behind Paqueta can afford Paqueta the freedom to go and do what he wants. Then, like I said, right-hand side, we're going Cornet, inverted player. Left-hand side, Benny, same thing. And then we're going to go right at the tip. We're going to go Scamacca. He needs to play. He needs game time. They're not going to bed in these players. They're not going to get used to Premier League football sitting on the bench. And David Moyes needs these players to succeed because his old favourites are not good enough to get the results that we're trying to get. His system isn't good enough. Okay, so even if he can't coach passing football, put some players on that pitch that can actually pass the ball, tell them to go out there and have some fun. Basically, that's what he needs to do. Take the shackles off, okay, and tell them to go out there and play to their ability. You know, express themselves a little bit, which is not something that I think that David Moyes typically does because he likes to shackle players and make sure that, you know, he'll put a player in the team, a forward player in the team, more because of what they do off the ball defensively than how effective they are going forward, which is fucking mad. It's crazy. Okay, when you're trying to win games, it's mad. I know it's important doing defensive work, But we've had enough of that shit. It ain't working. Playing safe ain't safe anymore, Dave. So I want to see you try and save your own job. I do. As I spoke about after the Everton game, I'm still very much Moyes out. That ain't going to change. It's only you. It's only you that can change my mind and other people's minds as well. And that crowd is growing. The grumbles of discontent is spreading throughout the fan base, and so it should be. So it should be. You have got money. You've got credit in the bank. Of course you have. If anyone deserves time to get this right, it's you. But you have to show signs that you're gonna even attempt to get it right. Not just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. So if we see you trying to do things, me myself, I will not come down on him and cripple him if we go out and we try and attack Wolves, we put an exciting team out and we lose it. I won't come down on him like a ton of bricks. What is going to kill me and what will ultimately, I think, kill David Moyes is a refusal to change. Because that, to me, says, what is the point? What is the point? We can't afford as a club to have two more expensive duds in Paqueta and Scamacca. We have to make them work. So David Moyes has to get them in, and not just get them in and say, look, I'm playing them. Make it work for them. Play around them. These are key players, and they're good players as well. You're talking about Italy starting number 9, and you're talking about Brazil starting number 10. Okay, they are world-class players. Whether you wanted them or not, it's tough shit. Make the best of it. Okay? Maybe it will make you a better manager. I don't know. And last of all, I'm going to go with the goalkeeper. Now, for me, this is going to be the biggest statement of all of them. And I want to see Fabianski dropped for Areola. Not because Fabianski has been terrible and because Areola has been fantastic, because I think we're in danger of Areola losing his confidence. You know, he hasn't looked great the last few times that he's in. He's probably getting disillusioned with life at West Ham, thinking, why the fuck have I come here? What is going on? You know, these players are humans. He could have gone anywhere. He's a French international. He could have gone to another club. So he has to get him in that team, and he has to get the players that we need to be confident. And the only way you can do that is by getting them playing and by getting them enjoying football again. Get the players on the pitch enjoying football. Make it a fun place, you know. It doesn't feel like there is the way that we play, it had a short lifespan. You know, the fans were only ever going to tolerate it for so long while results were coming in. But this was always going to happen, and I've seen this coming to a degree, and I didn't want this moment to come, but I could see it coming. And without the results, you can't ignore the terrible dross football. It's the same for players as it is for fans. It is. If you're a player in that scenario and you're not being backed by your manager, a manager that says basically you're not good enough to go toe-to-toe with this team, so we're going to try and stop them from playing football. How is that going to make these top players feel? So Moyes, it is still in your hands. It is. You've got to literally, you can change everyone's mind. You can change my mind. Just go out there, be positive, grow a pair, mate. Grow a pair. I don't care if you like attacking football or not, because I don't think you do. I don't think that's your thing, you know. I think but I don't care. That's what we need. That's what the fan base want. So you need to start listening to people. You need to start looking at your squad, the players that you've got, the profile of the players that you've got. You've got to start playing to people's strengths. And yeah, I hope that we can get a result. We should be able to beat Wolves at home. It is not an easy game. They've got talented players. They're dangerous. So the likelihood of us being able to shut them out completely and grind out a 0-0. I mean, why should we be trying to grind out a 0-0 anyway? Is unlikely, because I think they're going to create chances. So we've got to try and use the strengths that we've got. We've got an abundance of attacking talent now, albeit they ain't clicked and they're not on fire yet. But you've got to take responsibility for that, mate. Okay? So, yeah, I am kind of looking forward to it. I'm glad the football's back. I'm glad the international break's over. Desperately need some points on the board. But I will be open and honest. If you do the same thing again and it fails, I pity being you. I really, really do. I think it would be the most foolish, arrogant move ever of any manager I've ever seen. It's just suicide. And that to me would say that you want sacking, because you just that's ridiculous. You've got to make changes, mate. All right, try and help yourself, but most of all, help us. You know, we're the ones who are important. Okay. As always, if you enjoyed that video, please drop a like on it and subscribe to our channel, Claret and Booze. And yeah, like I say, sorry the content's been a bit slower for the past 2 weeks. We just kind of, like I say, it's difficult to create videos out of nothing. I don't like doing that. I don't just like reporting nonsense news. You know, especially news when you read it, you think, I don't believe it. I don't believe that myself. What am I going to put that out for? So we tend not to do that. So it will always go quieter in these periods, but we're going to start ramping it up again now. There'll be a show coming on Friday, as I said earlier on, hopefully a live show. There'll be a show on Saturday morning before the Wolves game. We'll do a quick preview on that. Then I'll probably do a match reaction after the game. I'm going to the game on Saturday. Going to try to anyway, with a rail strike. And we'll do, hopefully, a live review later that evening. And we'll do our Sunday booze up as well, which I really enjoyed that a few weeks ago. So yeah, look, that's it from me. Thank you very, very much. Nothing more to say. Come on, you heads.